Hi, in this tutorial, we are going to make our first Mulesoft application. I expect you guys have your Endpoint Studio. If you don't have it, just follow the documentation, which is given on the Mulesoft website. We are going to create our first project. Click on File, New Mule project. I'm going to develop a Hello World application, so I'm naming it Hello World. So click Finish. Okay, so this is palette, this is our folder explorer, and this is the console we can see. We are going to select the HTTP listener, um, which will listen for the request. And now we will configure some properties for the HTTP listener. First of all, we need to add a connector for this HTTP listener. We just click on this plus sign. This window will open and we don't need to change anything. But if we want to change anything, we can. But if we don't want, so we can leave as it is. And we have to specify a path over here. So I'm specifying a path. Hello. So our request will be listened at hello, and I'm adding another component which is set payload, which is going to set payload for this request, like what will be written when someone hits this endpoint. So I'm typing hello from Munisai. I have set this payload, and now I'm doing one more thing, which is set logger. I'm just setting a logger component here, and this logger component is going to print. This is just going to log the thing. So what I'm giving here is payload, and this will print the payload of whatever it's inside. So our first MuleSoft application is ready, and now we are going to run it. So just right click and click on run project. It's asking save, yes. So we need to wait till it gets deployed. It's deployed. So let's go ahead and make some requests. So for checking any API or any HTTP request, you need to have some client. I have Postman with me. So I already have written my API call. Uh, so this is localhost 8081 and then hello. So let's go ahead and click send. It's taking a bit time, and see we have our result. Hello from Munisai. Let's get back to the studio. What we have here. So we can see in the logs that what we put in the process logger. So here we can see it's saying hello from Munisai. So we are able to develop our first application. So that's a success. See you in the next video. In this video, we are going to upload our Hello World application to the cloud, Mulesoft Cloudhub. So first we are going to stop this application. Then we'll go and here, if you go any point platform and I want to deploy to Cloudhub. So there will be some screen, it's loading, so it's asking me to sign into my Anypoint platform. So I'm just going and writing my credentials. And I'm able to log in here. So it's taking a bit time, and So it will ask us about environment. So for now, we'll choose sandbox. If you have any other environment in your server, so you are going to select that. But we have sandbox. Click on this because as a trial account, we can just use sandbox, and it's saying that that we should change our name. So I'm going go ahead and change name hello world dash monas, and you can change it to yours is here. You cannot change worker because it's a trial account, but you can set the v codes like it's about some processing. We'll discuss those things in any other video. We'll just click deploy application. It will take some time and the application will get deployed. So it may take some time, and so it says this application is deployed. So I'm going and closing this window. So I'm going to my anypoint platform. So here's my anypoint platform. I'm going go ahead and um, in anypoint platform, go to runtime manager. Here's runtime manager. When you click this runtime manager, you want to see your application deployed. Here it says started, and it's saying the URL for your API. I'm going to copy this. First, our application was deployed on local, but now it's deployed on cloud, so we can just check and see. So I'm making an call to this API and see what do we get from here. Actually, I should make this request on Postman. So I'm copying this thing and going to the Postman and making the request again and send. Yeah, so it says hello from Mulesoft. So it worked. So this way you can deploy your application to cloud. In this video, we are going to download Mule standalone runtime and see how can we install Mule standalone runtime. So I'm just typing on Google um, Mule standalone um, runtime. So I agree. Click on this and click on download. It will take some time, and it will take some time. It's telling 6 minutes. So let's wait for this. Now my standalone runtime has been downloaded, so I'm mm, going there. So it's in this folder. So I'm going to copy this and going to take in my users folder. You can keep it anywhere, but just make sure that the path for extraction shouldn't be that long because it can create some errors. So go to users, and I'm going to paste it here in the users. So it's pasted, and I'm going to extract. So it has been expected. So I'm copying this. This is our runtime. Copy and paste it here, and deleting this folder because it has this thing. So I pasted this thing out, so I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to delete this. Okay. Now what we need to do, we need to set a variable, environment variable, and in that environment variable, we are going to copy this value. Just go search your environment variable, click on environment variable, and I already have this mule underscore home. If you don't have it, you need to create it, and I'm going to give a value, okay, and save. So once it's done, you need to go to your bin of this standalone runtime and open command line here, and you need to run a command mule dot. So when you type this command, it's going to execute your server. So just wait, and it says deployed. It means that our server has been installed and it's running, it's working. In this video, we will discuss how can we connect our standalone runtime with Anypoint Runtime Manager. So first of all, we need to go to Anypoint platform, um, and in this Anypoint platform, we need to go to Runtime Manager. In this Runtime Manager, you see the name server. Click on Add Server. Copy this command because I'm working on Windows. So for Linux, you will copy all of those, but I'm working in Windows, so I will leave dot and the slash thing. I will do Control C, and I'm opening a notepad. So, so we need to change the server name. So I'm writing mule dash node one. So just for editing purpose, there was nothing else, nothing other reason to open the notepad plus plus. So I'm doing Control C now. I have just copied this, and after copying, what we need to do, we need to go to uh, the bin of our standalone runtime, and what we need to do is uh, open a CMD here. So okay. Okay, so okay, so it was creating some sort of problem for me to read this part, but this happens sometimes, so I just did it manually. It's recording the video. I just paste that command, and I'm going to execute it now. So the agent deployed successfully. So I'm going back to the runtime manager and see my servers now. So I need to collect this. See, it's saying that there is one server, but it's not up and running. So what we need to do now is to go back to um, our standalone runtime again, and what we are doing now is going to see this time it this work. So I'm just going to run mule.batch again. So it says server is deployed. So now let's see what's the status of our server. So it says our server is running. So it just worked. So in this way you can register your server with Runtime Manager. In this video, we are going to create a jar of our application which can be deployed on any server. So what we are going to do is we are going to right click on our application, and in our application you can see this button export. You will click in export and there will be several options. Click on Mule and click Anypoint Studio Project to Mule Deployable Archive. Click next, choose a location for it. I'm choosing my location, uh, um, and name it whatever you want. And there are several options. I'm selecting this based on this. If you only want sources and if you want everything, dependencies and modules, everything, then you need to select this option. I'm going to click finish. It will take some time and says that project exported successfully and selling me the location. Okay, so let's let me go to that location. Um, so So in this location, if you see here, this is my application. So it is right here. So you can see this is a jar. So when in Mule 3, it was different. And in Mule 4, your application is exported in the form of jar. So you can deploy this jar anywhere. So that's all. In this video, we will see how can we deploy application using Runtime Manager. So we have our server running. So we will deploy our application on this server using Runtime Manager. So what I need to do, go to Runtime Manager again. Okay, just click on applications here. Click on deploy application. It will take some time. So I'm naming the application as Hello World Test, and it will ask for the target. We have two targets, Cloudhub and a node we just connected. So I'm just clicking on that node, and now other thing I need to do is upload a file for the application. So I have just file exported here, so I'm going to click on this and deploy application. We'll wait for a few seconds because this is not a very big application. This is an Hello World application, so it should deploy pretty soon. So it's starting. We'll wait for a few seconds and see that how what happens. Like either it is getting deployed or it is getting failed. So we'll wait here since this wheel is stopped until this wheel is going to stop. So just wait. So this says the application is started. Remember, when you're deploying your application to Cloudhub, it sits on a cloud. You can access from anywhere. But now you have not deployed your application on a cloud. This application is deployed on your local machine, but you can manage this application through Runtime Manager. So if you want to test this application, you will need to make a request to localhost. So just do this and you are getting your response back from here. But this time your application is not deployed on a studio, but this time your application is deployed on your standalone runtime. and go back to your standalone runtime and go back to servers and click on this. You can see the statistics about your server. So that was about deploying an application to Runtime Manager.